Hey guys, welcome back to Tech Tuesday.
And take a deep breath, because we're going to talk about what the fuck is going on over at reddit.com, aka the front page of the internet. Its user base, or at least a very loud portion of it, is currently super pissed off about how the site is being run at the corporate level. And unless you've been following this whole outrage closely on Reddit, it can be very confusing.
Luckily for Reddit, it happened over 4th of July weekend, so people were occupied with barbecues and drinking. But first, okay, what the hell is Reddit, you might ask if you're a person who doesn't use it. We use it all the damn time for work and for fun, because it's simply the best website out there for navigating the internet and finding shit you're interested in. Its content is entirely user submitted, and its upvote downvote system is an imperfect but still pretty damn great way for finding the best content in whatever topic specific subreddit you are looking at.
And those subreddits can cover quite a wide spectrum of topics. There's the default subreddits, which are okay. Yeah. They're the ones that new users automatically subscribe to, like pics, funny, gaming, movies, jokes. Today I learned, and dozens of others, but there are actually over 9,000 active subreddits that get way more specific, way more offbeat, and way more bizarre. That's where the gold's at.
Yeah, me IRL. All of these subreddits are moderated by Reddit community members who either start the subreddit themselves or are invited by existing moderators. These moderators are there to ensure that whatever rules they set in place for posting and commenting are enforced. So Reddit is essentially self-governed by semi-anonymous unpaid volunteers who do it because they like it.
Yeah, and it's a system that's pretty much worked for as long as Reddit's been around.
Yeah.
But Reddit is still a company with a CEO and paid employees and offices and investors and all that stuff. And the relationship between the corporate and community sides of Reddit is where all this trouble stems from.
Yeah. The latest wave of community unrest actually started about a month ago when 5 subreddits were all of a sudden banned for supposedly promoting harassment and hate speech. So most were racist or homophobic or transphobic, but the biggest one to be banned was Fat People Hate, which was dedicated to basically hating fat people.
Yeah, I mean, obviously none of that is very nice, and supposedly those subreddits led to actual direct harassment of specific individuals. But Reddit's unwritten policy up till now has always just been to support free speech and let the community decide what to upvote or downvote.
Yeah, so a very loud portion of the community saw this as hypocrisy. And for a couple of days, the front page of Reddit was flooded with angry troll posts mainly directed at Reddit's current CEO, Ellen Pao. Now seen as some sort of totalitarian dictator come to destroy free speech or whatever.
Yeah, she's a monster!
Yes.
Reddit eventually calmed down for the most part. Things were looking normal-ish. But then last week, the Reddit rage train once again exploded out of the rage station, this time over the apparent firing of Victoria Taylor, a Reddit employee who worked as a liaison between Reddit the company and Reddit the community, and was pivotal in turning the IAMA subreddit into the celebrity-packed soundbite machine that it is today.
Yeah, for better or worse.
Yeah.
The IAMA subreddit, according to its moderators, was highly dependent on Victoria Taylor being there to make sure that celebrity Ask Me Anything threads were the actual celebrity and not some publicist, and that the celebrities knew how these things worked and could effectively answer questions.
Yeah, she came in after Rampart.
Yeah.
That's not her fault.
Yeah, no, not her fault.
So anyway, when she was suddenly fired, the AMA mods set their subreddit to private to protest what they saw as injustice, and because this internal Reddit scandal was happening only a month after the whole censorship scandal, several other popular subreddits also set themselves to private in solidarity.
Yeah. Mods for many of the subs that went dark said the same thing about Victoria Taylor, that she was seemingly the only Reddit employee who gave a shit about answering questions and helping out the community, and that her firing is a clear indication that Reddit is out of touch with its user base.
Kill him! Burn it down! Yeah. Reddit CEO Ellen Pao and co-founder Alexis Ohanian went into damage control mode, of course, and started popping up on some of the larger threads created to talk about this whole shitstorm, but their answers and reassurances were seen as either too businesslike or too callous, and the whole thing only seemed to further fan the flames.
Yeah, also fueling the flames was the news that Reddit's senior VP of product and founder of Reddit GIFs had also been fired several weeks back, actually, before this. Meanwhile, rumors of users being banned by Reddit employees and Reddit employees taking over subreddits started swirling, but for the most part, these allegations are either unsubstantiated or straight up fabricated.
Yeah, there was a whole thing on our picks where they were like, oh, the mods are taking over, but it was just a fabricated screenshot that the mods were sending each other as a joke, and it somehow got out. It's a fucking mess.
Yeah.
Anyway, on Monday morning, Ellen Pao made a post on the mod news subreddit for the mods, apologizing for how poorly the site has been run during her tenure and promising to make improvements to the site based around concerns raised by moderators, starting with the new employee position of moderator advocate that will facilitate communication between moderators and administrators the same way Victoria's old
Kind of did it with the celebrities, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, none of this means jack shit to the very loud minority of Redditors that love being angry at any and all kinds of authority figures, no matter how irrational their feelings are. They're never going to get a specific answer from Reddit about why they fired Victoria Taylor, because that's just how shit works in the real world.
Yeah, companies don't generally just say, oh yeah, this is why we fired that person. But if you're 15 and if you never had an actual job, you wouldn't know that. Meanwhile, the people that are angry and continue to be angry will continue to find reasons to bitch about Reddit. And they'll do it on Reddit because the irony of that is entirely lost on them.
Yeah.
Now, Reddit does seem to have some very real problems with how they communicate with their mods, who they depend on to keep their site alive, but they're still doing plenty of things right. It's really just a glass half empty or glass half full kind of thing.
Yeah.
Also, Reddit has been unprofitable since its existence,
yeah.
And like they are a company that needs to find money. There's a reason you click on a Reddit post and 25% of the time it gives you the like sad man with a bunch of like paper around him. He's like, oh, our servers are too busy right now.
Yeah.
They can't afford server space.
It's a hell of a website to try to run too.
Yeah.
With how many users and how many subreddits there are and how many are being invented every day. It's a monumental task. Anyways, speaking of tech companies everyone loves to hate, we've talked a lot about the shortcomings of Tidal on this show, and for good reason. So when someone does music streaming correctly in an industry desperate for new revenue streams, we should talk about that too. Now to start out, I've traditionally hated on Apple stuff, mostly because it's fun to take sides, but there's just some things that Apple does better than the competition, and I'll have to admit that.
Yeah, the iPhone's camera is usually just the best camera on the market
on
on
a
a cell phone.
yeah.
Like you take a picture with an iPhone, it's not gonna be weirdly blurry and shit.
Yeah. Also, their hardware design is flawless. Nearly every Apple product is beautiful, except that trash can computer, but I'm sure someone loves that too.
I wanna love it. It's just very strange looking.
Very strange.
So when Apple announced their acquisition of Beats just over a year ago, we all just assumed that they would dive headfirst into the luxury wearables game by making Apple headphones, and that sure, maybe iTunes would get a subscription streaming platform as an afterthought.
Yeah, but then last week, Apple Music launched, and I really enjoy what they're bringing to the table that's different from the competition, most notably with the acquisition of former BBC Radio 1 DJ Zane Lowe, and Apple's apparent vision towards curation instead of simply a streaming version of iTunes.
Yeah, for over a decade, Zane Lowe has been a tastemaker on Radio 1 at the BBC, launching the careers of numerous artists thanks to a spin on his show.
Yeah, if he finds a new thing, he puts it on, and millions listen to it. So it was a
tastemaker.
It was something that America is strangely lacking.
Yeah.
A lot of the channels, especially out in the rest of America, LA has some rock channels, but still they only play Foo Fighters and Red Hot Chili Peppers. But a lot of the music out there is all top 40, and there's not a lot of things like really guiding people on where to. But we'll get into it.
KCRW.
And I'm a donator, but it's mostly news on there anyway. Anyways, it's something that people might have forgotten about music. Things like MTV in the old days and radio, they make you aware of new music, and when it's done right, it's awesome. When it's done poorly, as it has been in recent history with non-stop top 40 stations taking over the airwaves and indie stations being replaced, mainstream music became more about marketing to people than allowing them to hear something new and refreshing.
That's why Beats One is great.
Yep.
It reminds me of MTV in the 90s. On Zane's show, you will hear some songs that you've heard before, of course, but you will almost certainly hear something new that you like, as well as interviews with the artists themselves. You're not just gonna, it's not predictable.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yes.
You want something new.
Yeah, and to be clear, this isn't just an exclusive playlist like the Tidal thing or like Spotify sometimes does. This is real radio, real curation, hyped by the DJs themselves. I mean, you can hear the excitement in their voices about the music when they speak and when they hype up these songs. So, and he's not the only one getting a show. Get ready for this list of influencers who are getting their own show on Beats One.
Pharrell, Drake, Run the Jewels, Dr. Dre, Elton John, Josh Homme from the Queens of the Stone Age, Disclosure, even Jaden Smith.
Yeah. So as much as I hate to admit it, Apple might reignite music with the Beats One thing, and definitely for sure made things a lot harder for Jay-Z, and probably Sirius XM satellite radio too, I'd say that. Aside from Howard Stern, who will always have an audience.
Until everything switches over to podcast.
He just won't get it.
I won't do it.
I don't get it. It's a podcast, what does it do?
It is just the same that Android users like us can only listen on our computer right now because they haven't released an Android app.
Yeah.
Apparently they will sometime this fall, so hopefully sooner rather than later.
So anyways, if you want to sign up for it now, there's a 3-month trial. I did it just to see what was going on with it, like I did with Tidal, like a lot of these
Check
services.
it out.
And honestly, I think it's great that they're doing something new with this music streaming stuff that isn't just making songs available to
And it's nice that they stepped into this market without their usual kind of Apple arrogance.
Yeah,
where they're
yeah.
just like, hey, it's Apple. You're gonna buy it.
Yeah,
like,
no.
they're actually trying to innovate a little bit and like really putting their best face
And
forward with
like,
it.
I don't think this is gonna kill Spotify. It's not gonna
No.
kill Tidal kill itself. It's not gonna kill like all these other streaming platforms. It's just the Beats One thing is what's really exciting about this Apple Music thing. So it's cool to see that, and it's cool to see someone that can literally guide you and be like your big brother handing down his records to you. It's like, hey, this is good. You should check this out.
Yeah.
So it's a good way to do things.
But anyway, just because we just spent way too long
Yeah.
talking about Reddit and Apple Music doesn't mean there weren't other big tech stories this week. On Monday, GoPro unveiled their latest camera, the Hero 4 Session, which is ridiculous. It's somehow even tinier than standard Hero 4. It's like the size of the human eyeball. It's ridiculous.
That's what they're getting ready for. Just plug
God.
it in. It's a cube that's only 1.5 inches in every dimension, so 50% of the size of the standard model, and it's waterproof by default. So that's cool. Its size and shape allows for some new mounting options, like this one that attaches to your wrist for first-person punching or whatever.
Yeah, it's basically a strap that you could put on any of your limbs. It's supposed to be really good for like rock climbing, ice climbing, that kind of
That's
shit.
smart, yeah.
So yeah, it is lacking some of the more advanced camera options that the larger model has. Like you can't shoot at 240 frames per second.
Oh, darn.
Well, I mean,
Yes,
slow
it is
motion, it's great.
but, yeah.
But then again, it's also the exact same price as the Hero 4 Silver at $400. So they're clearly positioning this as an alternative model rather than a premium model, which is smart.
Yep.
Like if you want all the special features, you get the big one. If you want to be able to like stick this in your butthole, and forget about
Everything
it.
looks good down there. No cancer. And finally, over the weekend, an entirely solar-powered single-seat airplane broke records by flying all the way from Nagoya, Japan to Honolulu, Hawaii. A 117-hour flight across 5,282 miles.
Yeah, not quite as fast as your typical commercial airline.
I hope he had a movie to watch.
Apparently, he did yoga to stay awake for the whole time because he had to be awake. He was alone.
Oh, Jesus.
So he was just like putting himself in crazy yoga positions.
It's
and
like that, who's the guy that has all the
meditating
tantric sex?
and shit. Sting?
Yeah, should put Sting in that thing. With a bottle of lube and just fly him anywhere.
Still haven't come. Hour 86. Still got a hard on. Anyway, this news is really cool. Obviously, you won't be flying coach in one of these bad boys anytime soon. Because it's a very specific thing that they did.
Yeah.
But it's still a huge victory for solar power. They can say, hey, we did that.
117-hour flight.
Yeah.
No one's gonna use that.
Well, they could take the wing technology that they used on this and maybe find a way to implement
Like a
it.
hybrid plane?
Yeah, like put that on top of a 747. You can at least like keep the lights on without wasting fuel or something. I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
It's it'll cut.
Cutting costs
Cutting
are
costs.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ryanair getting some of those.
By the way,
What's
this
the
flight will
solar
take
panel?
117 hours.
There's only
And
one
there's
seat.
and you
But we're gonna fit 7 people in it.
you want to take a shit? Better pay for that toilet paper.
Yeah. Well, this one's great. You just shit out the window. There's no window.
That's why you got to do the yoga poses. Get his asshole out the window.
Yeah, I'm sure that he pissed and shit into the ocean.
Yeah. It's
Wait,
God's
how
toilet.
do you stay up for 5 days straight? I don't.
Doing yoga.
Yoga.
That's
Or having tantric
Trying
sex
to
with
suck your
Sting.
own dick.
you think he almost got it and then saw Hawaii and he's like, just give me a few more hours. And then he finally sucked his own dick. Anyways, this has been Tech Tuesday. Thank you guys for watching. Check out our other content over here, including our interview with the directors of The Gallows. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
I'm gonna go wipe my tears away.